The Watson Weekly Podcast is sponsored by Miracle. You don't need another tool, you need a growth partner. The Miracle platform is powering the next era of retail for brands and retailers who are ready to move. Powered by AI and built for what's next. It's December 8th, 2025, and this is the Watson Weekly, your essential e-commerce digest. Today on our show, Black Friday Cyber Monday, UW. Sam Altman called the code red to stop Google threat. Amazon and Visa partner on agentic payments. And Nike CEO purges John Donahoe lieutenants. And finally, the Investor Minute, which contains 3 items this week from the world of venture capital, acquisitions, and IPOs. But first, in our shopping cart full of news, Black Friday Cyber Monday, UW. So what did we learn? From downtime to discounts, you kept us guessing. First lesson is, we kind of already knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to be a good holiday season. Walmart told us this several months ago. The consumer is nothing if not consistent. Upper income will continue to carry the economy, and lower income brackets, while not experiencing wage gains, aren't despondent either. The second lesson we have is, people need to stop catastrophizing. We learned this year one thing. A slow trickle of bad economic news, tariffs and trade wars and other things have been a nothing burger for the consumer. Clearly, it has affected global supply chains. There are lots of major shifts there. However, consumers rolled their eyes at it. The third lesson is, many retailers lost a lot of time. I would like everybody to count up the number of reforecasts you did between March and May of this year and ask yourself again, was it worth it? I'm betting not. And I bet your staff thinks that the time was better spent on innovation. What didn't we learn? At least not yet anyway. The first lesson is, how much of this crap that you bought are you actually going to keep? And what margins do you have to give up to hit these numbers? And will any of these divinely discontented, promotion-driven consumers actually stay on? The second lesson is, I'm not sure if you learned yet how to make proper investment decisions. The idea that when we get stressed and nervous, we stopped investing in our brand and in our future, perhaps that's what needs to end. Our second story. Sam Altman calls code red to stop Google threat. The Wall Street Journal and The Information has reported that due to the release of the last Google Gemini 3.0, Sam Altman called a code red at OpenAI in order to combat the threat from Google. Well. When the incumbent is sleeping, things are great. However, when the incumbent is paying attention, and Google certainly is, then times are tough. Google is the worldwide leader in mobile operating systems, the worldwide leader in browsers, and it has a worldwide monopoly that is not a monopoly on search. And every search on Google now features AI conversations if you want it. Likely, this will continue to evolve. So what's happening? OpenAI is building quite a number of things at the same time. Data centers, a foundational model, a platform, a hardware division led by Johnny Ive, a business and app strategy led by Fiji Simo, an ad strategy, a shopping engine. That's a lot. It actually looks like, based on Wall Street Journal, that a fair amount of this is on lockdown at the moment. Reports are that shopping, advertising, and several other projects have just hit the pause button. Oh, agentic shopping, we hardly knew you. At any rate, you can kind of understand why. The company is investing in so many different things, but one thing matters more than anything else: the foundational frontier model. If that is hot garbage, then nothing else matters. So what do I think about this? Can I say it out loud yet? Sam Altman is arrogant, not very self-aware, and that does not bode well for the company's long-term prospects. OpenAI has already proven that its governance model has been an existential risk, which has finally recently changed by changing to a for-profit company. Perhaps it's time to remove the real source of the problem, Sam himself. Too much money is at stake. With the trillions it is planning to spend, the company requires perfection for anyone to ever make any money here. and the governance of OpenAI has already been less than stellar on multiple occasions. My questions are simple. If OpenAI fails, can agentic commerce truly succeed? If Google wins, we are still living in an ads world, and Google's commerce record is, suspect. If the incumbent has caught up, the one with the world's most perfect business model and cash cow, then is it already game over or not? Is there a chance to reaccelerate? How much leash does Sam have before the sharks start to circle? A relevant example, I think, here is Amazon. When they were building AWS, they were absolutely terrified by Microsoft. AWS was launched in 2006, and Amazon was stunned that Microsoft did not respond until 2010. Amazon lucked out in some ways here. Google had more of an approach problem. Which AI approach would win? It was less that the company was completely flat-footed. It was more that they had multiple competing strategies, Google Brain versus DeepMind, which was not enough to respond to a disruptive upstart like OpenAI. We will see what happens going forward, but declaring the code red after the release just means that there is more trouble afoot. ChatGPT 5 was not well received. Gemini 3 was. ChatGPT 6 is now on notice to be something special. Our third story. Amazon and Visa partner on agentic payments. I guess there are any number of agentic payment standards out there now. First, OpenAI and Stripe partner, then Google and PayPal. Now Amazon and Visa are getting into the mix. Essentially, Visa wants to create AI-enabled Visa cards that help you buy on behalf of consumers. In other words, making the card itself agentic, which is an interesting approach. Of course, if you're a payments company, that's kind of what you do. We've seen PayPal try and make noises similar to this in the past few years. Visa's own agentic proposal is called the Trusted Agent Protocol, which is designed to help merchants identify agents and eliminate those that might be malicious, which seems to me will be the major problem in commerce going forward. People buy fraud apps for their checkout to eliminate bad buyers with stolen credit cards. What happens when malicious agents outnumber good ones by a factor of 10 or 100 because there's more money in it? And our last story. Nike CEO purges John Donahoe lieutenants. Nike CEO Elliott Hill, who, if somehow you forgot, took over for former CEO John Donahoe, the former Nike CEO, has decided that a secret company doesn't need a chief technology officer. Role eliminated. This is a big statement. Chief commercial officer gone also. That's quite a streamlining. Chief supply chain officer Venki Alagirisamy will take on all the technology in the business along with his current responsibilities. I think that's an interesting move because supply chain at Nike should be about how to innovate on shoes faster, which, if technology is required, great. It will be under one roof. You won't have technology just creating random products and buying NFT companies like what happened at Nike not that many years ago. Ultimately, it's not clear what Donahoe was doing here. And at the end of the day, if you're a sneaker company, your product is something you wear on your feet. Software is not worn on your feet. At least, not until we all enter the metaverse. It's that time, friends, for our Investor Minute. We have 3 items on the menu today. First, L. Catterton to invest in Seki Furniture. Private equity fund L. Catterton has made an undisclosed strategic investment in Japanese furniture brand Seki Furniture to achieve medium to long-term growth. Second, Markup AI raises $27.5 million in funding. Markup AI, an API-based content governance platform, has announced that it's raised $27.5 million in Series A funding through a combination of equity and debt financing. The funding will be used for product development, expanding developer integrations, and scaling go-to-market efforts. And finally, Saks talks to sell 49% stake in Bergdorf Goodman for about $1 billion. Saks Global, parent of the department store chain Saks Fifth Avenue, is exploring selling a minority stake or 49% and luxury retailer Bergdorf Goodman for $1 billion to help reduce debt. That's all for this week. Till next time, Watsonians. Hi, I'm Rick Watson, CEO and founder of RMW Commerce Consulting and host of the Watson Weekly Podcast, your essential e-commerce digest. To hear new episodes of the show every Monday morning, subscribe now at rmwcommerce.com/WatsonWeekly and wherever you get your podcasts.